boy JB, aka the King of Soul, and today we got some Jordan 4s to look at. The Air Jordan 4 Retro SB. Now this is that Varsity red colorway. Before we get into the review, do me a favor, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also hit that share button. These videos that we do on this channel are strictly for review purposes, so if you do happen to have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop those down below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. So this sneaker does come in this off-white kind of sail box, and it is kind of glossed out throughout the entire packaging. Now smack dead in the middle on the box lid, you do have like this gray Jordan Jumpman logo with the flight branding. If you do a 360 around the box, you will notice more of that Nike SB and Jordan branding here with the hit of gray. The bottom portion of the box, just more of like, you know, that sail color. Now you do have some Nike and Jordan branding here, and of course you do have like, you know, some copyright information at the bottom as well for those that do care about that. There you go. Now the box label on the sneaker does read Air Jordan 4 Retro SP. The colorway says Summit White and then Varsity Red. Now when you do open the box, and up underneath they did give us this hit of gray here. I don't see like any stamps or anything like that to notate. When you do open the box, you are met with this white wax paper here, and it does have like, you know, the gray paint blotches, and we have seen that on other Air Jordan 4 sneakers. The sneaker did come double wrapped, so up under that you are met with this white wax paper here, and this is a heavily sought after sneaker. Now one thing I want you guys to understand, like, this is not a general release. This was like a friends and family release, so to speak. Inside the box you do have your green or white sticker there. But yeah, as far as like, you know, color blocking goes, we have seen this before on those Air Jordan 4 SB, the pine greens that came out like, you know, not too long ago. It's the same kind of color blocking, only thing that they did a little bit different, instead of it being like, you know, in that kind of sail kind of, because this here right here, the leather is all white on those pine greens that were kind of like, you know, like a beige kind of sail color. So this is kind of like, you know, a smooth white leather. They did go ahead and give us like, you know, this hit of gray suede here, but other than that, like, you know, the red hits are pretty consistent with like the green on that sneaker. As far as like, you know, build goes, the sneaker does look like what you would expect from like any other Air Jordan 4, but we're not going to take too long on this one. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And again, this is the Air Jordan 4 Retro SB, and this is that Varsity red colorway. So we're going to take a look at the right sneaker like we always do. Now from first observation, the sneaker does look like what you would expect from like any other Air Jordan 4 sneaker. On the lateral side of the sneaker, smack dead in the middle, you do have this rib netting material here in white. Now up underneath, they did give us this hit of nylon mesh there, and that is like, you know, in a white color there. Going towards the rear, you do have this triangular wing here in white, but they did go ahead and give us the hits of the Varsity red here for the lace crowns here for the laces. The entire upper portion of the sneaker is composed of like, you know, this smooth white leather material. Sock liner of the sneaker is like, you know, in that white as well. White stitching going throughout the entire, you know, upper portion. Now going towards the toe box area, they did give us this hit of gray here in this suede material for the mud guard. The midsole of the sneaker does have that hit of Varsity red going towards the front and the rear. And of course you do have some of that white here. One thing that I loved about this sneaker was the hits of like, you know, the gum bottom here going towards the front and the back. And that's showing like, you know, from up underneath. Going towards the rear and the back, you do have your cutout there for the air bubble. And if you look closely, you can see that it's red on the inside, but you can clearly see through the other side of the sneaker. And that's pretty much it on this side. Now, switching gears, going to the front toe box of the sneaker, you do have more of this smooth white here, in leather. And of course, you do have some white stitching. White stitching is consistent throughout the entire, sneaker. Again, the mud guard, they did give us this hit of suede here in gray. The upper portion of the toe box, you do have more of that ribbed netting material on white. And of course, you do have the nylon mesh showing up underneath. The sneaker itself, it did come pre-laced. They did give us these flat white laces. There weren't like any secondary laces that were provided with this one. Going up about 3/4 of the tongue itself, you do have more of that ribbed netting material. But the top portion of the tongue, they did give us more of that smooth white leather there. And if you look closely, they did give us this white tag here, and it does have the red Jordan Jumpman logo with the flight branding. The back of the tongue, they did give us, a hit of this Varsity red, and if you look closely, they did give us the white tag there with the Air Jordan text, and that's pretty standard on other Air Jordan 4 sneakers. Again, the sock liner of the sneaker is all white. I'm not going to pull, the insole out, but if you look closely, they did give us that hit of red, and it does have the Nike SB branding there. Going towards the medial side of the sneaker, you do have your white triangular wing here going towards the back. Varsity red for the lace crowns over on this side as well. More of that rib netting material with the white nylon mesh up underneath. And then other than that, you are met with more of this smooth white leather here with the white stitching. Other than that, you do have the hit of the Varsity red and the white for the midsole. Of course, you got your cutout there for the air bubble that you can see through the other side. And that's pretty much it over on this side. Now going towards the rear, they did give us this pull tab here. This time it's in that Varsity red color. But one thing that I do like that they actually gave us that hit of the Nike branding with the SB logo there in white. You do have more of this white leather here. And of course you do have some white stitching going towards like the heel of the foot. You do have more of that Varsity red and white showing. And of course you have that hit of the gum bottom showing up underneath. And that's my favorite part of this sneaker. But going towards the bottom, you do have some standard Air Jordan 4, this is your standard Air Jordan 4 bottom. You do have herringbone traction going throughout the entire sneaker. You do have the gum hits, going towards the front and the back. And then you do have like this hit of white herringbone traction again throughout the entire bottom. Smack dead in the middle, you do have this hit of the smooth white, but if you look closely, you do have that red Nike brand in there with the red swoosh, and that's pretty much it on this sneaker. Now the left sneaker, pretty consistent with the right. Everything is the same. They didn't swap out like any branding or anything like that. You do have the Nike SB logo on the back pull tab there. And that's pretty much it, man. If I were to rate this sneaker, I would definitely give this one a solid, let's go 9 out of 10, just like I did. Because I believe I gave a 9 out of 10 for the navy pair as well. And again, the only thing that's hindering this sneaker from being like, a 10 would be like this sock liner situation that they have here in white. I get what they were going for, but I kind of feel like, over time, the more you wear the sneaker, it will get dirty. So like, I just feel like after a while, like, would it just start looking kind of crazy on you? I don't really feel like you would get like a lot of wears on this one. But as far as like comfort and sizing, these do fit true to size, just like any other Air Jordan 4. I don't foresee a reason for you to want to go up or down a half size on this one. Stick true to size, but just like any other Air Jordan 4, from here going to the front toe box area over on this side, there is like this slope that does cause some discomfort by the pinky toe. But that's pretty much it. But I definitely want to thank the vendor who actually sent this sneaker to review on the channel for you guys. And I do encourage you to stay engaged like always. That can be reached on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even here on YouTube. Everything is at the King of Soul. But before we go, I'm gonna hit you guys with a 360 in the B-roll like I always do. But again, there you go. Air Jordan 4 Retro SB. And again, this is that Varsity red colorway. So there's the front of the sneaker. Lateral side of the right, lateral side of the left, There's your bottom, standard Air Jordan 4 traction. There's the medial side. And then there's the rear. And again, I do thank you guys for taking the time to tune in like always, but until next time, see you later.